Well, welcome back. Thank you so much for being here and continuing to listen to my story. I think when we left off, I was kind of just giving you a day in the life of how it was kind of living out of my car for, it went on to be little over 3 months. Um, Half of July, August, September, and now we're coming into October. And I said, um, I know by the end of October it's going to be too cold for me to be in a car. So I said I have to get a place by at least the end of October. I wanted to kind of tell you a little bit too about um, some of the things that happened to me during that time. So it was kind of like a day to day, nothing, not too many things changing as far as going to work, going to the gym to take my shower, um, going to Cracker Barrel to sleep at night, going to McDonald's at coffee in the morning, going to Walmart to get my food for the day. And that was kind of it. Oh, you know what I did forget to tell you guys? So if you know anything about Maine, there's the Maine Mall across in that area of South Portland. And a lot of my weekends, especially when it was hot during the summer, and I didn't want to sit in my car with the air conditioning, waste gas and everything. So, and then, being outside, of course, it's hot and there's different places you can go. Sometimes I would go to a library. Certain libraries like close early, like on Saturday. And but one of the places I always ended up falling back on was going to Main Mall and walk around, and then they have seating. So I would kind of sit sometimes for a couple hours and watch a movie on my phone, or, you know, just just be really. Um, so that was kind of redundant and tiresome, and just kind of didn't want to have to go there every weekend, but I couldn't always find somewhere else to go sit, or like I didn't have to spend money because I was trying to save up for a place to live. Um, so the universe kind of brings certain things to you, and like you may not know it or understand the purpose of these things coming into your life. Um, but later on, you realize why. So I, after leaving the shelter and in that guy's place where I had washed my hair at before, um, having a hard time like really washing it because it takes a really long time to wash my hair and dry it and everything. So I'm like, oh my goodness, what am I going to do with my hair? And I was trying to find like some hair products, and I found a beauty supply store in Portland. And when I went after work, I left and I went to Portland to go to this supply store. And when I walked in, the woman at the counter, she was on a phone and then she got off. So I was looking for through the products. And for some reason, she kind of, this is the funny thing. She said to me, she said something about her niece who had passed away. And I forget exactly what she said, but whatever she said, it gave me an inclination that she was kind of spiritually led. And I was like, okay. And the universe does that on purpose. Like a lot of people that you come across, if you were here watching this, you're a spiritual person. And um, I recognized right away that she had insight. So she was trying to figure out something. And so I kind of said to her, well, I believe it that it's this, that your niece is trying to tell you this. I know she was saying that birds had come to her window. And she says, I don't understand these birds. And I said, well, birds are messengers. So possibly your niece or was trying to give you a message or something. And um, so she had commented on my hair, and I said, oh, do you guys do locks here? And she says, yeah, I do locks. I said, really? I was like, oh my goodness. I said, can I like book an appointment with you? And so I booked the appointment and I started going to her. The thing was the regular price of what she would usually charge, like that was like the first one or two times, but then afterwards of us speaking and she started to know I was an intuitive and that we both spiritual, there was a connection there. We kind of got deep with talking about family life and stuff, told me how she started her business and she kind of um gave me what do you call it? A discount, which was a really nice discount. And like that's how the universe provides for you, in different ways like that, but also as connection. But later on, she was going to play a really big part in my life a couple months later. So I'll get to that later on. But like the universe introduces you to people who are going to play some significant part in your life. So don't negate just anyone that comes into your life because you never know what part they're going to play in your life later on. Um, so I want to talk about my job a little bit. When I first got there, I was in absolute heaven because um, working in finance, which is my background, I work in accounting, and there was a small business department that led by my manager. There was her manager, and then there was five other um, of us that did the accounting part for, and we handled all of New England. So one of the women that the position that I was taking over for had to kind of train me on, what she used to do because she was moving into a new position. And a lot of people I know, once you hear someone's name or whatever, like they look you up on Facebook, like, what's this person all about? At that point, I had like, that I was a spiritual teacher and, a psychic medium and stuff on my Facebook page. And so during this time of training, she kept trying to get me to kind of, in some way, admit, what I did outside of work. So I wanted to, because at this point, I wasn't really concentrating on doing readings and things like that. I was trying to survive was my main thing right now. Save up money, get out of the situation I was in. Um, but she kept kind of digging, like, so I wasn't picking up at first what she was trying to do. Like I saw, she was saying, oh, well, what is this? And I'm saying, well, that looks like it's, has something to do with, something spiritual, whatever. But she was trying to be very, undercover about it. About 2 weeks after I started, I guess everybody kind of has some kind of messaging system now in corporate America, like if you want to message someone really quick. And she you say that? Messengered me a, what I would say a derogatory picture. And I was kind of like cut to the core. And couldn't understand why she would do that. So it kind of really hurt me. I didn't know what to do. I had only been there 2 weeks, new to the company, new to, this whole group. Um, my manager just starting to know me, and I didn't want to run to my manager and say, you know, this person just sent me this picture, like, what is this? Um, the thing was, too, our manager had left because other things were going on. And then there was an opening for this position she was in now. And this other person, I'll call her Pat. Pat called her and said, "Hey, there's an open position for the manager if you want to come back." She ended up getting the position, so she came back and she became our manager. So I kind of feel like, in one way, our manager may have felt, I don't want to say obligated, or um, like she owed her, but she kind of coddled Pat um, in a way. Anyway, still trying to figure out. There was so much work, and it was kind of all new to me. The way their system also was a different software system than I had used previously, and a lot was going on, like really heavy. The thing was, by the time I left work, I was just like extremely exhausted and kind of happy to leave there and then go kind of sit in my car and just be. So as the weeks went by, she continued, had to show me other different things. And she was kind of fun, like, and I kind of tried to ignore what she had sent me. And she says, "Oh, we should go out for drinks one day. So much had gone on here before you got here, and this happened and that happened. And I'm going to tell you all the background and stuff." And I kind of like, okay. And she's like, "Yeah, so much, like that type of thing." There was another young gentleman that started to take same time as I did. And um, he was also learning everything that I was learning, but we kind of were going to do different things. So one day she had said to me, she says, "Well, I'm going to show you something, and you're going to be the only one to know it. He won't know it," like that type of thing. And I was like, why would she say something like that? So you're kind of getting to know how a person is. And things, like, there was friction now at this point, because she could tell that I had kind of backed off from her. I didn't like the way she was kind of presenting herself to me, the little digs here and there at me. Um, when I had first got there, also, it was supposed to be business casual dressing. I worked in New York on Wall Street, and it was, to me, that was, we had to dress business. And I kind of had taken it down a notch when he said business casual. Okay, New York, Manhattan working. and working in Maine, totally two different things. And I had never tried to dress any differently. I knew I wasn't going to have to wear suits and pantsuits to work here. So that was out the window, but I still had nice dresses and nice pants and sweaters and things like that. I think she wasn't used to seeing someone like me um, dressing that way. And I think she had approached my manager and said, like, kind of, this is the feeling I'm getting. Like, why is she dressing like that? Where they were kind of wearing like just leggings and kind of big tops and things like that. Totally not business casual. My manager came to me. She's like, oh, you don't have to, get so dressed. We're kind of more casual here and so forth. So that was my first indication to say that, you know, people here kind of have a problem with the way I dress. So let me take it down a notch. But I don't know how to like I didn't if you're used to dressing one way, and that's how they say you dress the way you dress. So, but it's like the daggers had come out. I'm going to come back to Pat later on because she also is going to play a big part of my story later on. But thank you for being here. I just needed to give you that background to kind of go on later on. And if you've been following along, it's kind of best to start at the beginning and go from episode to episode and just listen to the story. Because if you are on this ascension journey, your story is not going to be the same as mine, but mine is an example of what you may go through. Okay. And this is divine telling me to tell my story. Okay. Leave it there. Please share, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.